Snap-on's slogan is, there is a difference. And I'm telling you, there is a difference. I'm gonna tell you why there is a difference. I had mentioned before in my college school rant videos that my dad paid for my original set of tools that I had to have to do the program that I went to. And they were Snap-on tools. And at that particular moment in time in my life, I didn't know a lot about different tool brands. I knew, you know, Craftsman, which is probably 95% of what my dad had in his garage and the shed and wherever else he had tools, in a truck, in a car, everywhere. They were almost all Craftsman tools, which honestly was perfectly fine and still is perfectly fine, with some caveats. The big one exception I'm gonna get to, because there is one, maybe two massive exceptions to that, which I'll get to. But I didn't know when I was 18 years old and going to tech school I'd heard about Snap-on. I heard that it was really expensive and that no one needed to spend that much money on tools, was basically what I'd understood. I knew about Craftsman, and what else? Like S&K. My dad had a S&K 1/4-inch ratchet set in metric and SAE, I'm pretty sure. And he just like held that thing up on a pedestal. He would, out of all the tools he had, it was the one set of tools that he had that he really made sure that when he was done using them, they were all wiped down and put back in their case. He didn't really do that with any of his other tools, not like he did with this S&K kit. So I thought S&K was like the best possible tools that you could get, which they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. They are expensive, or at least they were last time I looked. But I didn't know anything really about Snap-on, why they were so expensive. I'd never heard of Matco or Mac, or I'd definitely never heard of Cornwell. Yeah, so I didn't know about all of these other professional grade tools. And so when I started school, I got these Snap-on tools, and I'm like, you know, open them up and putting them in this toolbox that came with the set. And I was like, man, these feel really nice. In hindsight, I can tell that there was a huge difference in quality between the Snap-on and the Craftsman stuff. At the time, I was just like, man, these feel really nice. Like, I'm glad I have these tools, because these are nice. You know, I was trying to take care of them best that I could, even though I wasn't really using them. But that goes back to the whole me complaining about school, and it was a waste of my time. But after my first semester into my second semester, when I started to go do internships as part of the program, my first and second internships were at a John Deere dealership working on small engines, which was lawn and garden. But obviously I was working in a legit shop, right? Well, if you're working at a legit shop, if you know anything about that kind of environment, you know tool trucks come to you. So I'm working on a freaking John Deere lawnmower, I'm sure, and big bay doors like right next to my bay to the outside, and you're like pulling tractors and combines and road tractors through there with 53-foot trailers and all that, just right by my bay. Well, this door happened to be open, and Snap-on truck rolls up right up to the door, the open door, and I'm like, oh, wonder what he's doing here. Didn't have any idea. I didn't really have much interest at that time because I didn't know what I was doing. Notice that I said in my school rant that I didn't learn anything from school. Not that I already knew everything I needed to know. I just had already known everything that they thought they were providing value to my life by teaching me. They didn't teach me anything. Everything that I learned about small engines and motorcycles, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, I either learned from my dad, my uncles, or actually working the freaking job in the trade, doing the actual work, and from people that I worked with in the industry. Not a bit from school. But, so at the time, I didn't think I needed any other tools than what I already had. I was like, oh, I don't need any tools, I got what I need. Which was just wrong, not true. Couldn't have been farther from the truth. One, that's somewhat of a joke, the joke is that always, you know, there's a joke with many things. There's with tools, there's bikes, there's cars, you know, whatever, is the equation of n plus 1 is however many, you know, in this case, tools that you need, where n is the number of tools you have now, and that's the equation for how many tools you need, is however many tools you have now plus 1. In my case, at that time, the true answer was n plus a bunch, way more than 1, but I didn't know that. I just thought that I had everything I needed because school told me that this was all I needed. You know, this was everything that I needed to be successful in this industry, even though working on friggin' John Deere lawnmowers wasn't really the industry that I was supposed to be getting in. But that's not really related. So the point being that this was still before I really realized that going to this tech school and doing this program was a waste of my time. Before I really realized. It was before I really truly realized the depth of how much it was wasting my time. So over the next couple of months, you know, I'm noticing Snap-on truck shows up, Mack truck shows up. I'm like, Mack? Never heard of that before. Matco shows up, and I'm like, huh, don't know that either. And Cornwell shows up, and the dudes, you know, there was only a couple of guys out of that John Deere shop that would really entertain any of the tool guys. So those guys would come into the shop and hand out free stuff, like, you know, kind of like swag, I guess is what you would call it now, but, you know, like a t-shirt or socks. I got a pair of Snap-on socks somewhere. Maybe I gave those socks to my dad, I don't remember. But I got a pair of Snap-on socks one time, and they would give you the catalog for that month or week or whatever maybe it was a quarter, whatever their catalog time period was, they would give you the current catalog. And like, oh yeah, check out, I got the sale on whatever, you know, or if you buy this socket set, I'll throw in a ratchet for free, or, you know, that kind of stuff. trying to get you onto the truck, because they knew they got you onto the truck, they had a way higher chance that they were going to sell you something. But I never bought anything from any of those guys. I did go onto the Snap-on guy's truck once or twice, I think, to repair some tools. I think probably a screwdriver, and I might have cracked a socket, I don't remember. But that's the only reason I ever went on there, on that guy's truck. And I remember the first time is like a little, you know, at that point I'd be, what, 19? Still pretty sheltered, young, green, didn't know what I was doing. So I, like, with my screwdriver, just kind of walked up onto the truck, and I'm like, never been on one before, so I'm like looking around. It's just like, if you've ever been on one of those trucks, you know that truck is packed, completely packed with tools. It's pretty ridiculous how many tools are stuffed into those trucks. But so I walk into there, and the dude's like, yeah, man, what's going on? What can I do for you? What do you need? What do you want? Basically, you know, because he pretty well knew by that point that I wasn't gonna buy something, and he could tell I had a tool with me, so there was something that I wanted. And I was like, hey man, can I get my screwdriver fixed? And he's like, yeah, man. Thoroughly annoyed about the whole situation though, like pretty visibly annoyed. And so he like replaced the blade on my screwdriver, because I was probably used it as a pry bar, because I didn't have a pry bar, and I probably, you know, screwed up the bit or the blade.